All right, welcome to our lesson plan of Healthy Me for our sweet peas. And this block is going to be doing bars, floor, and temple track. We're going to work on handstands and cartwheels, back bends, lots of tight bodies, and strong arms. For our first station are handstands. Our 5 Ps will all be starting, all of our Ps will be starting with their feet on the red and their hands on the green. Our 5 Ps are going to be walking themselves up, getting those legs nice and tight, those cores tight, but then walking their hands back to those red dots. And here we are then making sure that they have their ears squeezed between their arms, that their head is looking back at the mat. And at this point, when they have all those checked off, they will look at the picture of fruits and vegetables that will be there and name off their favorite or just name out which they see. Our 4 Ps will be walking up the mat with those straight legs tight together when they are ending, and holding their head between their arms. If they can walk their hands back, great. We are really stressing those straight legs and the head that is in the right body position to be looking backwards. And then our 3 Ps will be walking their feet up as much as they can, stopping in an L position and getting that head in the right position in between their arms. And our 2 Ps will be walking up as much as they can. We're really stressing that body positioning, and as your kids are, if it's too easy for them, look to the next level up of what they can do to get ready for that or even do that one. And if it's too hard, look to the one down, to the level down, to see what they can do. Always start with the level down and then go up as those things become easier and easier for them. On to our next one, we are doing lever hops for our 5 Ps. So they'll start in a lunge and they will press their hands above their head and squeeze those ears with their arms, and they are going to then lean down and place their hands on the staircase and hop up in that L shape, keeping their legs in an L shape, landing again on their lunges, and then come back up to tadas. Again, there will be when they stand up, there will be pictures of fruits and vegetables they can name off. Your 4 Ps are going to start in their lunge, hands up, squeezing ears, and they are just going to lever with the back leg coming up into a T position, coming back down. Your 3 Ps and your 2 Ps will be crawling up and then crawling down. And onto your next section is a cartwheel. For our 5 Ps, we are going to start in a lunge. And you can switch this block over there if they're going to start, depending on which foot they want forward. We want to make sure that their back foot is the closest one to the rainbow. And they will then lean forward and put their hands on the red mat and then kick their back leg up onto the arch, followed by their second one and down into a lunge. Here we are reinforcing that our handstands go one leg and then the other, and then still starting and ending in lunge. Our 4 Ps will start in lunge as well, and kick their feet above. And then if we can get them to land in lunge, if not, and then in a straight lunge, getting to land on their feet. 3 Ps, if we can get them to walk up the archway, great. If not, we can pull that block a little bit away and have them start in the lunge and then jump 2 feet over, and not using the archway. And then 2 Ps will be 2 feet together, hands on the mat, jump both feet over the red mat. So you'll pull that red mat a little bit away so they are not kicking the donut. And again, we will have their fruits and vegetables they can name off. And on to our next one. Here we will, with our 5 Ps, they will walk along the beam. When they get to the dots, they will jump to a straddle onto the dots and immediately jump back to the beam, go into an arabesque, which is standing on one foot with one leg back and chest up, arms out in second position. They'll come down from the arabesque, putting their back leg back, and then go into a cartwheel over the green mat. So these are going to be reinforcing what they just learned. We're just working on that bigger cartwheel of being able to get their feet down and using that momentum all by themselves. 4 Ps will walk on to the beam, again straddle, back onto the beam. Here they will arabesque and then bring their hands down and then jump on to the green mat. If they're not getting all the way over, that is great. We are getting their hands down into that cartwheel position and then jumping onto the mat. And then our 3 Ps will walk on to the beam, jump on to straddle, jump back, and then jump 2 feet onto the green mat. Here we are cutting out cartwheels for 3 Ps. We are just working on that leg jump, on those muscles for those jumpings. 2 Ps will walk to the dots, straddle jump, step their feet back on, so they'll go, left to right rather than jumping both at the same time. They will be moving one foot and then the other back onto the beam, and then going to jump onto the green block. Our station here for our 5 Ps is working on pushing up to bridge. So they will sit their bums in between those 2 mats with their legs on one and their hands on the other and push up to bridge. This is a great spotting station, making sure that we are not pushing up for them, but that we are having a hand underneath their back to make sure that they are not going to fall on their heads. We can place a hand on their shoulder joint to reinforce that hold for them, but they should be pushing up on their own. If they are not pushing up on their own, they'll go down to that 4 P skill, which is going to be laying down with their bum in between the mats, feet on one, and then as they raise their bum up, their arms will swing up above their head into a straight, tight body position. Your 3 Ps will be doing bear crawls, so they'll have one hand and foot on this side and one hand and foot on this side, and bear crawling across. Your 2 Ps can bear crawl or regular cat crawls across that gap. On our last station on tumbling, we are, for our 5 Ps, working on bridges. We're first going to work with their heads up here and their feet down and pushing up to a bridge. If they can do that, then we are going to turn them around and put their heads down here and push up to a bridge. Always make sure that they can do the bridge by themselves, head up first before moving down with their head down. And if they are then just rocking that, we will work on kicking a leg up or lifting a leg up to start that movement for the back walkover. If you have just a really skilled 5-year-old, we can spot here and spot that kickover as well. Be sure that they are not doing the kickovers unless they can fully push themselves up with their head down. Now on these, if they are just doing all of those, then they can try doing bridges on the floor. If they're really good bridges here, they can do bridges on the floor as well there. Our end goal is to be able to have those kids do those skills without mats. So if your kid is leveling up, make sure they can do them on the floor. 4 Ps on this mat will be doing bridges with their heads up, and our 3 Ps will be they are going to be grabbing a pool noodle and log rolling down, as well as our 2 Ps. And again, when they get to the bottom, they will have a fruit and vegetable paper. They can yell out their favorite or yell out what is there. All right, that is our tumbling section of Healthy Me.